Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated. It's Mary Jane, and let's talk about Shameless Season 9, Episode 5. Let's get into it. We find out that Ian Gallagher is not going to be on the show anymore. He's actually leaving, and this was actually his last episode, I believe. And we have Fiona. She's not going to be on episode 12 and 13, and this is actually her last season. So the writers of, Shameless said that they are prepared to write more, and they're going to go in detail with everybody's stories, people in the bar, people in the neighborhood. They're going to divulge deeply into their stories, and they have a lot in store for us. And they said shortly the season's going to change up, it's going to be shocking. And so I can't wait to see the shock, because I'm kind of like, damn, what's going on with my show? This is one of my favorite shows I've been watching for years, and Shameless is in the building, so hopefully it's going to develop more and keep us on edge like Shameless has always done. Keep us on edge like, oh my God, I can't wait till next week. We haven't had that yet, but it's getting there. Last season, to me, I thought was an epic season. It was a good season. Season before that. This season started off a lot slower and a little bit confusing, but, I guess they're going to get it together for us. So anyways, we start off with Frank. Frank is pissing out Brown shit. And he falls, and he's in the bathroom with Tommy, and Tommy's a funny character. Tommy was like, Frank, your piss is brown. Frank hits the goddamn floor, passes out. He's in the hospital. Now he got to get generic drugs, and these drugs have all types of side effects. We're talking about, face paralysis, losing your hair, getting gout, heart attacks, all types of crazy shit, and you won't get hard, all types of stuff. You'll go blind. I was like, damn, these drugs are ridiculous. And it's a drug from the 70s. So basically it's showing us like how, insurance is very important, and how sometimes that if you don't have good insurance, you don't have insurance, you suck. You'll get some shit that'll mess you up. And Frank is trying to go all the way around the world to find out, to get the generic drug. But you know what? He does have Kev and V on his side. It's like Kev and V are taking over, kind of like Fiona role a little bit. Them two seem more inclined with the children, with the Gallaghers, other than Fiona does, because Kev and V was there for Carl to make sure he get his letter to West Point, and then now they brung Frank to the hospital like twice. It seems like they're really playing an intricate role while Fiona is out being a businesswoman, and so we have that situation. So Frank cannot get a hard on, and he wants Vicodin. And it was like, when Frank was in the hospital, he was like, just give me some Vicodin and me and my interracial friends can leave. I was like, he's such an asshole. And so they looking at Frank. Then Frank is driving home with V and Kev. He jumps out the damn Jeep and starts masturbating in front of the mannequins. This shit ain't normal. I thought it was funny, but so that's what makes the show kind of good too as well, even though it's lacking a lot of things that we're used to, but the humor is still there. So it was funny seeing that, and Frank masturbating, because we know Frank will masturbate to anything. So Frank cannot get hard. He's trying his best to get hard. He's trying to get an erection. He can't at all. He's at the bar. He's with Kermit. Kermit is funny as hell too. Tommy is funny. They're watching porn at the bar, and Kev was like, come on now, turn off that porn. We're gonna lose our status as the vagina safe bar. And so you have that situation. Frank can't get hard. The prostitute, she walks in, Libby, she walks in, she's taking off her underwear, she's goggling with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, talking about, if you had the penis I had in my mouth, you'd be goggling too. Frank, propositions her and asks her if, he can get a blowjob. She was like, I'm off duty. He was like, I'll pay you off duty money or whatever. And then this is going on in the bar. It's supposed to be the safe bar. Now none of this shit is supposed to be going on in the bar, because this is the vagina safe bar. And so Frank goes outside, and Libby, she is going in on that penis, and it's not getting hard at all. And so she didn't even charge Frank. Then on top of that, Frank, he goes home, he gets a lamp together, he does his nice little project where he tries to shock therapy, take the lamp wires and hook it up to his penis, have Liam plug it in, gives him the rubber gloves to protect himself. He shocks himself, he flips over, and he's out of business. And he said his penis looks like barbecue, looks like Choco, and it's all messed up because it's burnt. Then he gets back to the hospital, and guess who's there at the hospital again? V and Kev, because none of the other Gallaghers care anymore about Frank at this time and point. And then Frank meets this crazy woman, and she's actually a famous actor. I can't think of her name right now. And she tricks Frank to say that she has, Vicodin in her pocket. He goes and looks in her pocket, see if she has Vicodin, because she's strapped to the bed. She's strapped because she's one of the insane, crazy patients. And then Frank unties her, and she elbows him so high, knocks him down, get on top of him, and started humping him. And then Frank actually gets he gets an erection. He's actually hard. So it seems like Frank liked crazy women, just like his ex-wife was crazy. So that's it with Frank and his situation. Frank is like in a whole nother place because, Mo White didn't take him to Congress with him because he was stealing the campaign money, but yet the molester's in the office, and Frank the drunk is still back, back at Skin Row, basically. So Frank doesn't have any money right now, so he's going to try to get him some money. He's going to try to make some money. So I thought that was like pretty interesting. And we have Carl, he's getting ready to go to West Point, a little dinner or whatever, meeting with the majors, meeting with the rest of the cadets. He meets this girl, and she's the major's daughter or whatever, and she's feeling him. And she gives him some alcohol. They go upstairs to her bedroom, and she's ready to give it to Carl. But Carl was like, I can't, because I signed this consent form. Like, I can't have sex with anybody that's drunk. The vagina safe guy, Kev. And she's like, who's the vagina safe guy? I was like, I thought that was so funny. But it also shows you the innocence of Carl. Carl has done a lot of bad things. But one thing he didn't want to do was rape a woman or take advantage of a woman that was, intoxicated. So, the major's daughter from West Point fell out, and he didn't have sex with her. She assumed that he had sex with her, and she tries to beat him up. She gets him kicked out. I thought he was going to get kicked out of West Point. He wasn't going to get into West Point, but she ends up going through his phone and realized that was his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. We actually got them to talk about Cassie, but nothing else mentioned about Cassie. We're probably going to hear about her later on, and she's probably not really dead. And so he's cool with the girl now. That's the major's daughter right there. You see in the slideshow. So, so Kev is doing his due diligence with the vagina safe guy, so that's cool. And Carl, he's burying the dogs. All the dogs have died, so he's burying the dogs. I don't even know how they survived in that house, smelling them dogs rot away. Like, the air and the pollution and the house must have, probably they should all be sick, and they're not sick. I'm like, what's going on? So I was like, okay, so now we know Carl is doing pretty good. But you know what was fun? It was a nice part of the scene when Carl was, putting on his tie. He couldn't tie a tie, so he put on a clip on, and Lip comes into the house, and he's looking at Carl's looking at Lip like, you need any help? You want me to stay around? You want me to hang around? Because Lip has this long, far away look in his eye, like he's missing Zan or whatever. And he knows his brother is feeling a certain type of way. So he wanted to offer him some brotherly love and some support. Like, let me chill with you, brother. And Lip was like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. And he kind of like fixed, Carl's tie. Carl leaves. So that was a good bonding moment between the two brothers. So I did like that. And then we have Liam. Well, how old is Liam? Liam, he got skipped to the 6th grade. Is he like 9 years old? How old is Liam to be having sex in the bathroom at school? The episode is basically talking about the Me Too movement, women getting taken advantage of, getting felt up on. V even talks about guys on the subway trying to smell her vagina, sniffing her out, and the ladies are talking about all these horrific experience they have experienced, while being a woman. And then you see that Ian gets molested, kind of like raped in the bathroom by the bully girl that's raping Liam in the bathroom. And I guess they had sex, and he doesn't know if he had sex or not. He just knows he had sex with a trashy girl. He's not sure. He don't understand if his penis got hard, if it didn't get hard, they use protection or not. He's trying to run home and clean himself. That seems like, I was like, whoa, that's a whole lot. Liam getting raped. We already have, Debbie, she done raped her baby's daddy. daddy and got her baby. So I'm like, damn. And there's no importance of this happening to Liam. Like, it's not a big deal. But like, if he got skipped to sixth grade, what was he in? Third grade, fourth grade? And he's being taken advantage of. And then the bully girl was talking about she's pregnant. She moves into his house, and Carl and Debbie are scared of her. They think that she might have a weapon, and they don't want to ask her to leave. And then they questioned Liam. Liam was like, I had sex with her today. And they was like, well, then you can't be her baby's daddy. And Carl didn't know the answer, but Debbie did. And it seems like they do have a lot of growing to do too as well. They know a lot, but not too much. And you think Carl would know, like, you can't get a woman pregnant. Like, she can't claim that you're her baby's daddy if you had sex the same day. You know what I mean? She wouldn't even know if she was pregnant or not. She previously been pregnant. So they're waiting for Lip to get home so they can take care of that situation. But it seems like Ian takes care of that situation. I was just like, what is going on? So we have that situation. And then the bully girl was like, I'm moving in. And she was like, come and rub my feet, baby daddy, to Liam. If that was my little brother, I would have beat the shit out of that girl. And she'd have been kicked out of my house. So we have that situation. Then we have Debbie. Debbie's still trying to find out if she's actually really a lesbian. So she goes on a date with Alex, and she's ordering all types of food at Fiona's restaurant. And this girl, Alex, is talking about her first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade relationship. And she's just talking and talking and talking. Everything's so self-absorbed, all about herself. Debbie's falling asleep. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Debbie sat there that long, and Debbie was just like, I'm done. I'm done. And she was like, you make me want cock now. And then Fiona comes, and Fiona is worried about who? She's worried about Ian, what's going on with Ian, because Ian's supposed to go to court. And he's supposed to go to court, the same day. And he's thinking about running. And she felt like he's going to run because she went to the bathroom and she saw a black dye all over the tub, and she felt like he dyed his hair. We know Ian has ran before. But, Debbie was like, Fiona, won't you worry about yourself? He's a grown man. Let him do his thing. It's like, I guess the narrative is trying to tell Fiona that they're grown now. They're adults. But if you think about the things that they're doing and the behaviors that they're doing, that they're not totally adults, that they need some guidance, especially Lip just giving away 10 grand. And then you got, Carl bringing, dogs in the basement to die and that pollution. And Lip doesn't know if and Lip trying to, take care of everybody else but himself, and bringing strangers in and not dealing with his issue with sobriety and trying to stay strong with that situation. And then, Ian is not staying on his medication. That's why he's the gay Jesus as it is now, and all the shit that he has done. So you have all that going on. So Fiona goes to Ian's, meeting with the attorney, and Geneva, she's there too as well. She wants, she wants Ian to actually plead guilty or whatever, but she doesn't want him to say plead guilty with mental insane or, an insanity plea. She doesn't want him to do that at all, because then that'll mess up what they got going on, the donations, the church, the fund, the campaigns that they get, the money that they're getting from Gay Jesus, which is Ian. And Fiona was like, yo, I don't want my brother to do 5 to 10 years, and you have a problem. You wasn't on your meds. And Fiona's taking over the meeting. She's cussing out Geneva. She was like, family's important. Family's number one. Family's this, family's that. I don't give a shit. You already had Ian for a little while. Your Gay Jesus stuff. Leave him the fuck alone now. And she's serious. And then, Ian is just like, damn, because he didn't want Fiona to come to the meeting in the first place, because they don't want Fiona to go all Fiona on them. But it seems like they need that Fiona. And so, in the meantime, Fiona is not paying attention to Ford, because Ford is supposed to be going to the architectural, museum and actually see the blueprints, and supposed to be a part of that. Something he brought tickets for 6 months ago, and him and Fiona are supposed to go together. But Fiona's gonna ditch, Ford, because she finds out that Ian is nowhere around, and she finds Di in the bathroom. She wants to make sure that he shows up to court. So she's looking for him. She's going to the bus station, the train station. Ian's about to leave, but he comes back home. Because he realized what Fiona was saying. He realized, like, if he didn't have that voice, he probably wouldn't have made that decision. Like if Fiona wasn't there, he probably would have went on a run, or been and not show up to court. But her nagging him and being on him and being there and fighting for his rights and showing how much concern she was about him, that is very important. The $50,000 that Fiona was gonna put up for bail for Ian, that was something like, come on, don't do that, the church bailed Ian out, but this is something serious that will affect his whole life, where he'll be locked up for 5 to 10 years. That's a long time. So Ian comes back home. Fiona and Ford, they make up because she left Ford standing at the museum, and he was like, what about me? He feels like, you're my responsibility. Let your brothers and your family be grown. They're adults with everything. But Fiona can't really let go now because she knows there's some things that they're lacking, but it's hard to let go. And so, but Ian stays around, and it was a wonderful scene between, Ian and Lip when they're eating ice cream at the table, and they're talking about if he goes away for 10 years, Debbie will be married to a woman, and Liam will have a 10-year-old child, and Frank will be dead. What did they say Fiona would be? I don't know what they said Fiona would be. And Lip will be, he'll drink himself to death. And so that's when, Ian was like, please just don't drink yourself to death. So it was a nice moment, them eating ice cream, that bond that we haven't seen in a long time with the family, the bondness, the closeness, because usually the episodes are gathered around the family. So we have that situation taken care of. And it was funny when Ian goes to see Mickey's father, and he was like, would you come to faggot us all? I was like, what is he talking about? We ain't no bottoms. We don't bottom. He was like, but the worst thing about prison is the boredom. If I was you, just run. I just can't believe Mickey. And then, this is when Ian goes, was Mickey adopted? I hope we get to see Mickey. Mickey's supposed to be in, Mexico. I don't know if he's ever coming back or whatever. But then his father, is out there with men, and he was hating on his son being with another man. And I think, Mickey was a bottom. Pretty sure Mickey was a bottom. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that was cool. So that was all set with that situation. And then we have, Lip. Lip is still missing Zan. He doesn't know what to do. I thought he was about to drink. He goes into a store. It was a convenience store and a liquor store at the same time. And he's looking at the liquor like he's going to drink. I was like, come on, Lip. You got some more to do, man. So Lip ends up buying a bunch of cigarettes. And that's what he does. And he doesn't drink, but he actually gets a card from one of the customers from the mechanic shop, from the motorcycle shop, and basically he gets a text from him, and he goes to ride the motorcycle, and he skied all the way to the end of the finish line, and he kind of like hurts himself, so it gives him some thrill. So I don't know if he's going to start doing some thrill type of stuff, race car driving, motorcycle driving, and is he going to turn his energy towards that than trying to take care of kids or whatever. And we also have him going to an AA meeting and meeting a guy that says he gets paid. He's a companion, a sober coach. Basically, he's hired to keep people sober. And he had this quarterback to keep him sober for the game. And he got like $5,000 for it. So I think now, Lip might go into being a silver coach. I don't know I just think I want his character to develop more, because there's so much more. When he was going to school and all of the other stuff he was doing, and using his brain and his mind, and being being with the architectures, the engineers, and all of the other stuff, the graphics and designs, and seeing that side of him. I want him to get back in that, see if he can actually get back into that door or something like that, instead of taking on kids and trying to raise them. So, that was pretty much it. He's just trying to place not drinking onto something, but I think he just needs to start within. Like, he wants to be a dad, so maybe he's gonna have. If he wants to be a dad, he can take care of Debbie's daughter, because Debbie's always trying to leave her daughter with somebody, and so we'll see what happens with that situation. And Kermit and Frank, and Tommy, they're just so funny in the bar when they just be talking. The women are trying to tell them about all the sexual harassment that they went through. They're like, oh, Tommy was like, come on, geez, stop. I'm just like, too much. And then Kev's supposed to be speaking at the rally about, things that happen to women, and so to have these ladies come on stage and tell these horrific stories, which are sad, which are depressing, which are somebody's true story. So it's really good to express and say what you need to say. And it's like, damn, you just think about the shit that we have to go through. People just sometimes they think that we're just objects, like we like that type of attention, you grabbing and you yelling and screaming at us or trying to take advantage of us. So that was really important, but Kev doesn't want to go do the speech no more. He was just like, he's singing to his daughters, like, please stay away from men. And like, it's showing the realization of how some women are treated and the things that happen to us. And sometimes you might think it's nothing, but sometimes it's really something. And so that was cool with that situation. Them touching on that, but we didn't see anything about Mo anymore. And it seems like Carl's gonna get into West Point, and he's gonna have the colonel's daughter, backing him too as well. And it seems like Ian is going to be locked up for a little while, but his speech that he gave at the end at court was amazing. It was an amazing speech. It was a really good speech, and he had pleaded insanity, and the church didn't like it, and so he's going to be gone. We're not going to see Ian anymore. I don't know. They said that this was actually his last episode. I don't know if it's this episode or the next episode, but I believe this episode is his last. And then we also have Debbie going to Fiona's neighbors and testing whether to see whether she was lesbian or not, because she's confused now because Alex said that she was a terrible lesbian. So she goes to the Fiona's neighbors, the two lesbian couples with the baby, and the hottest one, the one with the longest blonde hair, kisses her and opens up her robe, and Debbie feels a little certain way, and she said, well then, whatever you feel, that's how you feel. So I guess Debbie's a kissing lesbian. She likes attractive girls. I don't know. So I guess Debbie's still confused too as well where she stands at, because this is something new with her, being lesbian, and then also having Ian being gay Jesus. So we'll see where they're going to take all the stories and the plots and what's going to happen. Anyways, peace. I'm out. One love.